new student programs. There we go. Sorry, we just underwent an office change and my title changed in the process. But I'm Jason Ernesto, Assistant Director of New Student Programs. I'm joined by a lovely panel of humans today. I'm going to go ahead and get us started by just having everyone introduce themselves. Sage, if you'd like to go next.
Of course. Hi, everyone. My name is Sage Ober. I use she, her pronouns. I am the director of living, learning, and new student programs, also in the same situation as Jason. I've been at UR I'm starting my third year, and I'm really excited to get the chance to welcome all of you to campus here soon. And with that said, I'm going to pass it over to my colleague, Taylor, to introduce herself.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Taylor Hoogsteden. I'm the Assistant Director of Programming within the Center for Student Involvement. I also oversee our student programming board, which is called Spider Board, but a little more on that later. I'm going to turn it over to Jack.
Hey everybody, my name is Jack. I'm a rising senior here at the University of Richmond. I am from Charlotte, North Carolina. I am double majoring in computer science and geography. On campus, I do a lot of work for the admissions office and the new student office, which is why I'm here today. I've worked as an Endeavor navigator, tour guide, that kind of stuff. I also play club soccer. I'm the president of the computer science club, a couple other things, but I don't want to bore you. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to my good friend Yamir.
Hello, friends. My name is Yamir. I use he, him pronouns. I'm a rising senior. I am a orientation leader. I'm on the orientation leadership for orientation. Super excited to be a part of that. I've done also a lot of things with Jack. We were roommates at one time, so he's a really good person. And yeah, nice to have you all this evening.
Alrighty, thank you, friends, for introducing yourself. Thank you all for joining us. This is our last webinar in our new Spider Summer series for this year. Oh, all these things. I just started Invisalign, and so I have a little bit of a lisp. So saying that was a challenge, friends. But thank you all for sticking with me through it. This is our last webinar that we have in this series. If you happen to miss any of the ones prior to this, or you would like to revisit the content from today's webinar, you can go ahead and give our YouTube channel a look, a New Spider Orientation on YouTube. We have all of our webinars recorded, and they will be published there, including this one, starting tomorrow or Thursday, one of those two. By the end of this week, you'll be able to watch all of our webinars, and they will be right there for you to catch up on all the content that you may have missed, or to revisit content that you may not have gotten all of. I want to hop off where we went with our friends Jack and Yamir. Jack and Yamir are both members of our orientation leadership team that we have coming up in this, this orientation season, which will start here very, very soon. In this next week, a lot of our students that we have on our orientation team will return to campus and be trained so that they are prepared to welcome all of our new spiders back to campus and welcome them into their journey here at the University of Richmond. To give you an idea of where we're going to go in our conversation today, we're just going to share a little bit of an overview for what your student can expect, or if you are a parent, family supporter who are joining us today, what your student will experience during their new Spider orientation, and then talk a little bit more about what students can expect to experience in their first 6 weeks here on campus. We will have a whole portion dedicated to answering any questions that you may have there at the end of this webinar. You will notice at the bottom of your screens, there is a Q&A box. Whenever the time comes, or as you have questions throughout, if you just want to go ahead and type those in that section, we'll be more than happy to get to those as we can, but especially at the very end, whenever we'll have a whole dedicated Q&A portion. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and get us started with a little bit more about what orientation will look like. Give me 5 seconds while I kind of navigate to our little slide deck that we have. Going to share my screen and hope that technology is on my side. Right on. Here we go. We're sharing, and we're going to present this. Beautiful. So one of the things that you're going to notice about our orientation schedule is our orientation schedule platform guidebook. If you would like to access guidebook right now and follow along as we're talking through, you can scan that QR code with your cell phone. But this is just a little bit of an overview of what you can expect to see as soon as you log into the app or on your browser. These screenshots are taken specifically from the phone, from a cell phone perspective, but you are more than welcome to try it on your browser, and it should give you something similar as well. You will see right here on our farthest right, this is the homepage that we have. On our homepage, you're going to look into that top left corner and you will see 3 lines. Those 3 lines will allow you to click an option to go to the orientation schedule. If you click those 3 lines, you will see the second block that we have right here. And that'll show you all of our orientation events that we have, as well as all of these specific tracks that you will see, which is our little image that we have right here on the farthest right. There are different tracks for different experiences for orientation, primarily in the context of our transition programs. Our transition programs are our pre-orientation programs that first-year students have applied and been selected for. So if you have been selected to attend this program, you should have already been communicated a few weeks ago. I believe July 11th, an email went out giving you your specific track name as far as like which schedule you're going to follow for the orientation experience. And then also where you can access all of the important information that you will need for move-in and then getting in contact with professional staff. But this is just our overall page that we have for our orientation schedule. If you have any questions about this or have trouble accessing, feel free to put your comments in the chat, or feel free to send us an email at newspiders@richmond.edu, Sage, if I'm correct. Yeah, newspiders@richmond.edu. And we'll go ahead and put that in the chat as well. That way you can have that email address. And I'm going to click us from this little overview to do a little bit more about understanding orientation. So as I mentioned before, we have our transition or our pre-orientation programs that will begin with move-in on Sunday, August 18th, and that'll last until the morning of Wednesday, August 21st. So who are registered for our transition programs? So these are any student who has been selected to experience either Endeavor pre-orientation, Thrive, which is our historically multicultural pre-orientation experience, and then OAR, which is Outdoor Adventure Richmond and then our international pre-orientation that we have as well. As I mentioned, our move-in will be on Sunday, August 18th. You have been assigned a move-in slot or you have selected a move-in slot. We don't have a representative from housing here today, so we can't necessarily answer all of those housing questions for you, but we can at least communicate your move-in date. And then I believe Sage will share a little bit more about what that process will look like here at the end of the webinar as well. We will have also in tandem with our transition programs, we will have some parent, family, and supporter sessions. These will be specifically on August 18th at 7 p.m. With our reception that we have on that first night of programming. And then we have parent and family orientation on August 19th from 9:30 to 12. This experience, specifically the parent and family orientation, is going to be the same parent and family orientation that other parents will experience during New Spider orientation on August 21st, or excuse me, on August 22nd. Parents and families and supporters, you shouldn't feel the need to stay for both of them. However, you're more than welcome to attend both if you would like, if that's something that you're comfortable with and something that would best suit your schedules. So our transition programs, as I mentioned, last from August 18th until the morning of the 21st, and those will lead directly into New Spider orientation, which will start the evening of August 21st, Wednesday, August 21st, with our university welcome. All righty. Let's see. So from our New Spider welcome and our university welcome, we will then lead into the rest of our orientation experience. Thursday through Saturday, there will be a series of programming for your student to attend, all of it ranging from social and academic programming to some of our federally mandated sessions that every student here at the university, every student in the United States has to go through in order to be a well-informed member of a campus community. Your students will see more information about this as they connect with their orientation advisors, who will be the students that we have leading groups of incoming students. Our orientation advisors, as I said, are going through training in this next week, are going to be well equipped to answer the questions that your first year students might have, as well as provide them support as they navigate what this experience will look like. Each group is made up of each group is led by 2 orientation advisors and will have anywhere between, let's see, Sage, correct me if I'm wrong, 20 to 30 first year students, depending on the size of the group and depending on how things fall for our organization. But they will be in contact with them here soon. And so your first year students should be on the lookout for any communication from their orientation advisors. Let's see our next slide. So whenever it comes to checking in for orientation, there's really 3 steps that you got to be focused on. First one, you got to travel to THC or Tyler Haynes Commons. This is our student commons that you'll see. It's hard to miss. She's right there, smack dab in the middle of campus. You can't miss her. But our address is located right here. If you would like to take a screenshot of this webinar, this will also be sent out to you in communication. Or like I said, the recording of this webinar will be published onto our YouTube channel. There is and ample parking located near THC, near and around THC. I believe because it is move-in day, there will be a specific process that you should follow. There will be signage present, and there will be plenty of humans there to help guide you to where you need to be for our move-in process. You please, in order to help us facilitate this experience and help it to flow as smooth as possible, arrive at your time of check-in, either the time you selected or the time that you've been assigned. You should have this instant communication. If not, we will have the email for housing here listed in the chat here very shortly at the end of this webinar, so you can email our housing friends to get more information about what that process looks like specifically for you, your family, and your student or students. Once you arrive to THC, you're going to go ahead and check in. There will be people there welcoming you and guiding you towards the way. There will be a series of tables and a series of offices ready to welcome you and provide you with materials and further information that you need. You'll see that we have a parking map linked right here. And then we also have the schedule linked once more right here and on our third panel. After you check in and after you go through the little fair or visit all of the tables to get all the information, then you will go to your assigned residence hall and start unpacking. You will have between whenever you finish unpacking until the start of the university welcome to just explore, maybe travel into the city to grab some lunch or really just look around and kind of spend some extra time with your student. But that will be really all of the programming that we have until the university welcome at 7 p.m. on Wednesday. All right, give me 1 second. I will stop sharing my screen. Let me double check my notes to see where I am at in conversation to make sure that we're going at a good pace. All right. All right, so a couple of other things that I will mention as far as our new Spider orientation experience will go. Yes, it starts with our university welcome at 7 p.m. on that Wednesday, but that following Thursday, there will be some sessions for our parents, families, and supporters leading up until noon. We have our academic welcome and our parent family orientation in the morning of Thursday, August 22nd. We just ask that as soon as that session is over and you have some time to go have lunch with your student, that families, parents, and supporters start to separate at that moment in time. The rest of our programming throughout that weekend will be specific for our first year students and information that they need to know and things that they need to experience, kind of preparing for their time here at the University of Richmond. And so that is where we're going to ask you all to start to take your leave, if you will. Sage, anything there that you would like to add that I may have missed regarding NSO?
No, I think you covered most of the things. So thanks, Jason. The only thing I'll mention, just in regard to the guidebook schedule to go alongside that, I know I've gotten questions through the email account about kind of how to figure out what sessions you need to attend. And so just so you know, again, when Jason was talking about those tracks, again, we have things for transition programs, but there are tracks such as required. That's pretty self-explanatory that those are definitely those kind of mandated sessions that are required for students to attend, because if they do not, they will need to make them up at some point. And so it is much easier to do it then. Also, again, we have our OA meetings and different connection points that are very important for students to get information that they need to be successful in their first few weeks here at the University of Richmond, also happening during that time. Outside of that, I'll just mention that we have different affinity groups and open houses that are going to be hosted around campus by different offices. We want to give students the chance to start to think about what they want their journey to look like at the University of Richmond. And so this really allows them to start to think about that. So again, I highly suggest sorting out by those different sessions to get an idea of what you might want to take part in over orientation. There's also different social events. So each night during orientation, we will offer a different type of social program for students to attend. We have comedian, magician coming to campus, food trucks, movies, all kinds of things. So again, hopefully everyone will find something that they can enjoy during that time. But also again, hopefully throughout that, I know people need time to recharge, maybe decorate your room, get books, different things like that. So again, just doing that planning in advance often will allow you to feel a little more settled as you start to arrive on campus, especially in those first few days. As we know, there is a lot going on and a lot to think about. about and you're preparing for classes. But again, just make sure to kind of take some time and sort through different tracks and get an idea of what those first couple of days will look like for you.
Wonderful. Thanks, Sage. And as you mentioned at the beginning, this is just an overview of what you can expect to experience during not only our pre-orientation programs, but New Spider orientation as well. If you have any specific questions about anything that you see on the schedule, or maybe something that wasn't mentioned or does not get mentioned today, feel free to reach out to our inbox and we'll be more than happy to get you that information as soon as possible. But we've heard a lot of professional staff talking, so I really would like to get some student perspective here from our orientation team that we have, the members of our orientation team that we have present. So let's ask, hey Jack, what's some advice that you would maybe offer a student going through New Spider orientation or preparing to go into New Spider orientation?
That's a good question, Jason. I think you put me on the spot right off the bat. I think the biggest one is just make sure that you're still taking some time for yourself, but at the same time, really try to push through. I think that, that first week's going to be super hectic. You're going to be meeting a ton of new people. You really got to, right before you get there, make sure you flip on the part of your brain that remembers names, because I always forget when I come back and I meet all the new freshmen and I forget the first like 5 of them. But hopefully that won't happen to you if you're on this call. I'll do my best to lock in after that. But yeah, just, make sure that obviously you want to push through, but you're going to be exhausted. Make sure that, you take the downtime that you need, whether it's taking a nap when you have a break or, getting a nice shower and just something to do where you're taking some alone time. You're going to be so overstimulated. And I just think that, it's going to be super fun. There are going to be parts of it that aren't quite as fun. But those are required. So you do have to go to them. And some of the required stuff's fun too. But that's the biggest thing I can say is just, do your best to push through, but make sure you're taking time for yourself and taking a break if you need it, because it is really hectic. And I mean, it's only going to continue it's going to ramp up more and more when you have classes and all that stuff. So just, do your best and things are going to work out just fine. The first week's not going to determine how the 4 years are going to go. So yeah, hope that answers your question, Jason.
It sure does, Jack. Way to respond right off the bat with no preparation whatsoever. Very proud of you. But Yamir, so kind of going off of that, what is something that students should be excited for NSO?
Hello. I think the people that you're going to meet. I think the people that I met during my orientation, like the people that I met, like that core group of like people from like my endeavor, or like the people that I sat with at like in the dining hall, or like the people that I went to like the Lakewood, or like just all the different like those groups of people, super, super important, I think. And to know that you get to like meet those people as soon as like orientation comes, because you never know. Like, and I think I say all that to say that like take chances and meeting and doing something and trying out and all those great things, because the people that you meet along that journey, super, super cool. So yeah, be excited about the journey. That's the excitement.
Be excited about the journey, and yes, take time for yourself, as Jack said as well. Well, thank you, friends, for answering those questions for me. I'm going to go ahead and hand things off to my colleague, Taylor, who's going to tell us a little bit more about what students can expect to experience in those first 6 weeks here. Taylor, go ahead, take it away.
Hi, everyone. So there are a lot of opportunities to get involved right off the bat following orientation. I oversee, as I mentioned earlier, our student programming board, which is called Spider Board, and we host a series of events and programs throughout each semester. We host both Spider Nights activities, which are late night substance-free programs throughout each semester, and we also host major events throughout the fall and the spring semesters. So beginning our Spider Nights for the year, we'll have our kickoff Movie Under the Stars Shrek night at the football stadium. So we'll be screening Shrek, and there'll be candy bags and free Movie Under the Stars blankets for the first 300 attendees, as well as popcorn for all attendees. So that is happening the Saturday following orientation. So the last orientation event is Friday night. So it'll be that Saturday, the next night. And there'll be, please follow if you don't already at your Spider Board for all of these updates. So we'll be posting about that there. And we'll also have some Spider Board students helping out with that last orientation event. So you can speak to some Spider Board students there about our fall programming. And then following that, we have our last day of summer celebration that Sunday. So that's going to feature life-size Hungry Hippos, customizable license plates, an inflatable basketball arena, bounce house, human whack-a-mole, and a live DJ, as well as some food trucks. So that's going to take place. It's kind of like a last day of summer picnic. It'll take place on the West Hampton Green on campus. But once again, there'll be more information on that once you arrive to campus. So these are just some fun opportunities for your first weekend back. And this will be Spider Board's first major event of the fall semester. This event is also one of our first Weeks of Welcome events. And so Weeks of Welcome are basically, it's a welcome back initiative for new and returning students. So we have a series of programs that fall under our Weeks of Welcome programs. And this ranges from programs hosted by academic departments to programs hosted by different units and departments across campus. So we have Residence Life is hosting an event. Dining Services will host multiple events as part of this. Our Center for Civic Engagement will be hosting a lot of events, Center for Career Services, Student Center for Equity and Inclusion. And once again, you'll be provided with this information once you, upon arrival at campus. However, if you are interested in getting those immediate updates, follow @YouAreInvolved on Instagram. I'll also put these in the chat so that everyone can follow. So essentially, we are going to be hosting a series of both signature and featured events during the first 4 weeks of the fall semester, 4 weeks of welcome. And essentially featured and signature events aren't that different. Signature events best encapsulate. So if offices are hosting multiple events, a signature event might best encapsulate the mission of that office. So that's really the only big difference there. Other than that, signature events also will feature free swag. Thank you for putting the handle in, Jason. You could also put UR Spider Board in there. I don't know if it's in there yet. So some examples of, I'll just share some of the signature events that are happening as part of Weeks of Welcome. So in addition to the last day of summer celebration hosted by Spider Board, we'll have the Welcome Back Barbecue hosted by the Robbins School of Business, Pups and Pops hosted by the Chaplaincy, the Fall Block Party hosted by the Student Center for Equity and Inclusion, an open house hosted by Disability Services, Spider Fest hosted by the Center for Student Involvement. So I want to highlight this one because this is a really great way to get engaged during your first 4 weeks on campus. So basically, this is a club fair for you to get to learn about all the different student organizations across campus. We have over 150. And so this is a great opportunity to speak with members of each and learn what each one is about. It's a really getting involved with student organizations on campus is a great way to find community. And in addition to all of the connections that you're going to be making throughout the orientation process. Another signature event that we have is the LGBTQ plus breakfast social hosted by the Student Center for Equity and Inclusion, the open house hosted by the Center for Civic Engagement, the study abroad fair hosted by the Office for International Education, and the ice cream social, which is hosted by Health Studies. These are just some of many Weeks of Welcome events that are featured as this year's Weeks of Welcome initiative. And I'm going to link, or actually, I don't know that. So I'm going to share this with Jason, and Jason will share that in the chat. But I'm sharing a link to the university webpage that lists all these events out. And then the other best way just to stay updated is following the Instagram handles that Jason has put in the chat. But yeah, that's it from me.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Taylor. Everyone who is attending this webinar, you will see that I have listed a series of links and handles in the chat. If you're not seeing those, please let one of us know, and we'll be more than happy to get you that information. To start wrapping us up a little bit, I'm going to hand things over to Sage, who will hopefully share a little bit more about what you all can expect regarding the move-in process. Sage?
Yes. So Jason did give a little bit of an overview of kind of the move-in process. I'm not going to go too in depth because again, I am not a Residence Life staff member and I don't want to get any information wrong, but I do know people have some general questions about kind of what that process is going to look like. So we can kind of give you a general overview. And then if you have more specific questions, we can certainly see if we can answer them tonight. And if not, we'll get you connected with our Residence Life staff so we can get you the correct answers. But as Jason said, when you arrive to campus, you will want to first head to Tyler Haynes Commons, THC. And as he stated before, and if you rewatch this webinar and or search just parking map on University of Richmond online, you will find a map, which again will show you parking all around that building. That day, no one will be getting ticketed for parking in areas. We know that people are moving in, and so that day will be a little bit special in that regard. So you will need to get parked, and again, it's going to take a couple minutes to get into THC and get the things you need. But what will happen is when you arrive, and again, you'll want to arrive at that check-in time that you signed up for through Residence Life. The student will be able to go into the area where Residence Life is at, and at that time they will check in with them so they can get all of the information they need regarding their housing assignment. They'll also pick up their one card, which is what they'll use to swipe in and out of their residence hall, for their dining plan, to swipe in and out of the dining hall, all of that kind of thing. They'll also receive a orientation name tag. Fingers crossed, we're still working on it, and that's new this year. And on that name tag will be all of the information, like their OAs, who their RA is, resident assistant, and orientation advisor. There will also be some different information if they're in a transition program, like their track name. So again, just a helpful guide for them to keep with them throughout the week, and also so they can get to know people more easily. So they'll be able to do that on their own. At the same time, in that building, there will also be an area where parents and family and supporters can go and look around, where there will be tables staffed by professional staff across the campus. So if you have a question about something, again, there are, I want to say, I just looked at the list today, but around like 20 or so offices that will be there. So again, a good mix of people around campus so you can hopefully get answers, and or that people can connect you with the right people to get any answers that you might have. So again, make sure to take a walk around that area when you get some time. And then from there, again, students will be able to then go to their residence hall, where there will be URPD, different staff members from across campus, just so again that you can get directed in the right way to start that move-in process. We know it can be a little stressful, and so again, trying to make that as easy as possible for anyone. So again, and then at that point, you'll get moved in, and I find people get settled in different ways. Some people are going to do everything immediately, and others it's going to take a couple of days, and that's totally fine. Another question we often get is like, what happens when you arrive if you forget something? It's a little bit stressful trying to figure out again what exactly you need when you get here. I will say the thing I hear from people the most is often you don't need as much as you think you might, but it does take some time to figure out what that looks like for you. And so again, we do in the Richmond area have plenty of Walmarts and Targets and different shops if you need to go pick up anything that day. I also will say in the guidebook schedule, if you click around, there's resources and different things in there. During orientation, we do have some extra shuttles that will be going to Walmart at different times where we don't have major required events scheduled. So that's a good place to look for that schedule. We'll also have some shuttles running around town as well.
I believe we have
in-
lost connection with Sage. There she is. Here she's back. There she is. Hey, Sage.
Sorry. So yeah, it says my internet connection's unstable. So anyway, so again, there's a lot of different ways to get different things that you might need once you arrive to campus. So again, that's just a general overview of what the move-in process looks like. Again, if you do have questions, you can type those in the question and answer box, and we can certainly try and answer that. So I think with that said, I was like, are we ready to jump into questions and answers? I was like,
We absolutely are.
Perfect. Well, we had one question, which I did type a response to, but I'll just kind of make sure the group hears it and knows in case you haven't seen it. But there was a question about if you're participating in a transition program, which happens before classes begin, how would you be getting meals? Just due to because financial aid funds will distribute later. Just so you know, in that way, for students who are going to be in transition programs, that first night on campus, we are going to give you a voucher when you check in for your transition program that you will use that night to get into dinner. And then starting Monday morning at breakfast, August 19th, your one card is what you will start to use, and your meal plan will be active at that point. So again, it's just that one night for transition programs where you'll have a
At that
voucher.
point in time.
At that
If there is anyone else who has a question, feel free to, whether that question is for us professional staff or for any of our students that we have on this call, feel free to type it in the chat. We will hang around for a little bit. Ready to help answer anything you have. Let's see, here's one. If my move-in time is 1 p.m., do I need to arrive early to check in? Sage, would you say yes, no?
You should arrive right around 1 o'clock. They let people start their check-in at 1 p.m. and then you would move in after that. So you would want to check in at 1.
Beautiful. There's another question. Where do we find our check-in time?
So you are able to sign up for your check-in time by signing into your housing portal, I believe, and then there's you can choose the check-in times that are available. So that is, I want to say it's Star Res. I don't know if I have a link here or not. But again, you should have received emails on with that link in it to sign up for your check-in time when you received your housing assignment.
I'm gonna copy and paste this link. This link should take you to the move-in and check-in information for all of our new / incoming students that we have joining us this fall. Feel free to utilize that. There are links to portals, there are there's contact information, and there is a plethora of information available to you to utilize if you have any housing questions from there. Once I check in, do I get a closer parking spot near my dorm to unload? And what is the time frame for that?
Yep. So once you move in, you will head to the residence hall that you've been assigned. And at that point, there will be, again, our police officers and different people available who will help guide you to where you need to park to best move in. I don't know that there's a set time frame, but again, people do keep that moving so you can get your items in and then move your car and then get settled.
Alrighty, next question. My check-in time is from 1 to 1:30. Does that mean I must be done moving in or around that time, or just arrive at that time?
So again, you'll want to check in between 1 and 1:30, and then after that, you will go to move in.
So no pressure to be done unpacking by 1:30. If you can unpack your entire residence hall in 30 minutes, please let me know because I just moved and might need your services. Let's see. When will we know what group number we're in for orientation? On the orientation app, there are multiple different required things that say groups 1 through 15 or 16 through 30.
Great question. We're currently working on that right now. So most likely next week, you should receive an email with your orientation advisors and your group number. Also, when you arrive to campus on your name tag, your group number will be listed as well. So you will know, again, what group to look for. Because again, when you are starting to find your group, they'll have big signs with the number on it. But again, you will definitely have that information in a couple different ways once you get to campus.
You sure will. Another attendee asks, when do I get my parking spot assignment if I registered for a spot?
That's a great question. I'm not fully sure of that. And so I would highly recommend contacting parking services. I'm going to get their email address and copy it in this box. So you could reach out to them to get that specific information. From my understanding, I don't know that there's specifically assigned spots, but rather lots that you are able to park in. But just in case I'm misunderstanding something, I don't want to give you wrong information. So again, I'm going to send this email address
I
in.
am currently I'm going to copy and paste this link to our undergraduate resident website for our
Jason, you mind if I hop in here real quick as an answer to that parking question?
Yeah, go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, I think that usually they send it to you either like right around your first week or right before your first week. And the deal is that basically once you get that email from them, you just have to walk over to parking services in the special programs building. You'll receive your parking pass, and then you just paste your sticker on your car, and then you'll be good to go. And usually there's a little bit of a grace period right at the beginning, not long, because parking services are notorious. They will ticket you, so please get that done because those will rack up quickly. Um, but there's a little bit of a grace period right at the beginning of the year, like a week, where they won't start ticketing until like the first day of classes or the second day of classes. And so you just need to go to parking services during business hours, pick up your pass, put it on the back of your car, and then as long as you're parking in your assigned lot, you'll be good to go. But that email comes in right around the time you get to campus, so no stress about that. And if you still haven't received it by the time you're getting to the end of orientation, just talk to one of the orientation leaders or contact parking services at that email.
And that, my friends, is exactly why we have students present on this call as well. They can answer the questions that we as professional staff may not have all the answers to, specifically in the context of being a student at the University of Richmond. Sage, this next question says, I am an international student and have to order packages online. How can we arrange for the packages to be sent to the university? Is there a package limit? And from what date can we start to order our packages?
That's a great question. So this is where I definitely also would recommend contacting mail services. I don't know that there's a package limit or anything. What I do know is you are able to start sending things to campus starting, I want to say it's August 9th. So they start around 2 weeks before arrivals accepting packages. Their website has a ton of great information. I've referred students to it quite a bit this summer. So I would highly recommend taking a look at that. It also has like how to write your address specifically, so you'll get those packages and notifications that you need. So again, you can start sending those packages here in the next couple of days, and they will receive them. I don't know that, again, there's a package limit. I was like Yummy or Jack. I don't know if you know that by chance. But again, I can make sure that I can post the links to mail services and their email address as well.
Also, do they know about their like UR4 number PO box?
They should hopefully at this point.
Yeah, they're kind of hard to find, but you can find them in Bannerweb if you haven't received an email about it. It's a bit of a process. I have it written down in an email somewhere, so if you give me like 2 minutes, I'll find it and type it into the answer for that question. If anybody wants to find their address to send packages prematurely, I believe the process is like you have. Oh, they actually did change it. It might be 24 hours now, but I think if you haven't, it's like 24 hours in the convenient boxes, and then you can still get it within 5 days at the like window. And then after 5 days, if nobody's picked it up, they will either maybe they still have it if you get lucky, or they will start sending it return to sender. So that's my understanding.
Thanks,
So,
Jack.
you don't need you don't need that PO box number. You can just use the address of the school.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, just the address of the school, because it goes straight into just as long as they have your name.
Okay. Fair enough. Learn something new every day, I guess.
Hey, that's
Right
our
on. Beautiful. Okay, next question. Thank you so much for blowing up this chat with questions. This is good. This feels helpful. So this next question, in the room assignment number, my Laura Robbins courtroom is A309B. What does the B mean? I'm going to assume it means it's this second room in a set, but Sage?
Yeah, it's just when they go to do assignments, they assign one student A and one student B. It's not necessarily like one set is attached to like one bed's A. I mean, one bed's technically A, one's B, but you don't necessarily know that. So again, your room number is really A309.
Beautiful. My check-in time is the first slot in the morning, and after I'm done, what do I do for the rest of the day into the required events? So that's going to be time that you can utilize if you end up having your room ready to go, very with hours left to spare. You and your family or your supporters can go explore either the university or explore Richmond. I believe our dining hall will be open during that time, so you can go and have lunch there. But outside of that, Sage or Jack and Yamir, any recommendations as far as like how they can occupy their time?
I definitely would say if in that kind of like gap space, definitely go and try food enrichment if you have the kind of like either like there's transportation or you're driving, like however you get here. There's a lot of great food spots all throughout Richmond on Cary Street downtown. Go on TikTok and search up RVA Eats. You'll find all the things that you need to. Go on Instagram, find all those good handles because they have really good like places downtown.
Yeah, I would second that. I remember when I was moving in, that was the case for me, and my family and I went to Carytown Burgers and Fries on Cary Street. It's about 10 minutes away. It was really good. But there's plenty of great places all around. If your parents aren't with you, your family's not with you, people will already be kind of mingling. You can go to the dining hall. You can start making friends. Best thing you can do is just be yourself and make sure that this is kind of a new chance for you to be who you want to be and get out of whatever the kind of you felt like you were in high school. And so just be true to yourself and do what you want to do with your own life.
Word. All right, Sage, anything else to add to that question that we just answered?
No, I think they did it best. I think, again, if you have time to explore the city in any way and get out there, I think that's great. Again, hopefully during your 4 years here, you'll also get the chance to do that. We have a lot of great opportunities to get connected that way. But also there's a lot of energy on campus. You can definitely walk around. If you have specific questions about any, office or thing like that, again, it's during the workday, so people are around on that Wednesday. You can check out the dining hall, different things like that. So again, I think you can't go wrong, but just spending some time exploring, no matter where it is probably what I would recommend.
Right on. All right, next question. This is kind of off topic, says the speaker. But can you explain the West Hampton and Richmond college system? Are they gendered? Are we automatically placed in one or the other? What exactly is their role? You will learn more about our college systems whenever you come into orientation. It is actually one of the first sessions that you experience upon your arrival, and not the university welcome, but on that first day, the first full day of New Spider orientation, you will see more information about how this operates and what the role of both of the colleges are. But I'm going to actually allow Sage to answer this question, as she's been here at the university longer than I have, and our students can also chime in.
Yeah, so you are correct that by gender, technically, you will get sorted into either Richmond or West Hampton College. However, what I will say is ultimately it is up to you to make the best choice of which college you feel is the right fit for you. And so you are able to switch into a different college. That is okay. And really, those two colleges are here and staffed with deans who are here to support you in times of need. And so if different things come up, and again, you need help maybe thinking through what you need to do academically or socially or kind of anything, they're the kind of one-stop shop to start to get you connected different places. They also do a lot of wonderful different programs for the people that are in their colleges and for the campus at wide as well. So again, there's different ways in which you can get involved in each college, and it's really up to you to decide kind of how you want that to look. As Jason said, you will have chances to learn more about that system, as well as meet and learn who those deans are as well. They're very active on campus. So again, you'll have a session where there is a college welcome. We'll also have an open house during orientation as well. So you get the chance to connect again with the staff in both of those colleges if you want. Again, it is a really unique system to the University of Richmond. Not many in the country have it. But again, it really is a way to make sure that you feel supported and have, again, different connections and that support if you would need it. I don't know if anyone else here has anything else they'd want to share, especially since maybe you've had a student experience there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the Torrey office. We're kind of taught a little bit more about the history of it as well. The reason that it exists is because we used to be Richmond College and Westhampton College separately, and Westhampton was a women's college and Richmond was a men's college, and then they merged to make the University of Richmond about 30, 40, 50 years ago, something like that. And so the way they do it is obviously it's not as simple anymore. And so well, it was never as simple, but that's a different topic. But the way they do it now is those who, based on the demographics you provided the university, those who identify as men are automatically placed into Richmond College. Those who identify as women and non-binary are automatically placed into Westhampton College. But as Sage said, if you feel the need to, if you would rather be in one or the other, it's really up to you. It's not, there's no strict rules enforced one way or another on that. So.
Right on. This next question says, if I need an address for an absentee ballot, what all I need to do is put in the university.
I just did a brief search, and our Center for Civic Engagement, they will be doing a lot of different things on campus this semester around voting, which is awesome. And they have a really great website. I just pulled up with a bunch of information. One section is all about absentee voting. And so, because I don't want to get this information wrong for you, because it is really important, I'm going to copy this website link into this answer here, and I'll put it in the box as well. And I would highly recommend reading through that and making sure, again, you do what is needed there. And again, if you do have specific questions, you could always reach out to the New Spiders inbox and we can get you connected with staff over in the Center for Civic Engagement to help out there.
I'll also say to that point, like over in the CCEI, because I do a lot of work with them, we'll be tabling. So like we will be out, you'll be able to find us to ask questions and like get resources. We'll have like a whole programming and things in an event surrounding things like voting and processes and all things like that. So just stay tuned for those. But you'll definitely have the resources there.
Wonderful. All right. And this last question that I see here, where would you recommend to buy dorm stuff? What are some dorm necessities and what things are not necessary? I'm going to hand this off to the students and former students of the University of Richmond to buy, say some more about, because I don't know if I'd be the best person to answer this question.
Yes. There are a decent amount of stores nearby. There's Walmart's, there's Target's, there's if you want snacks, there's Publix, there's Kroger, there's a food line all the way down. There's a lot of like stores near the campus. There's also stuff on campus. So that way if you need like something at the Dean's End or something from Tyler's or something like that, to grab a little snack, because I like my snacks. There's all the different spots that you can kind of go grab them.
Yeah, I would say, bring only what you feel is really necessary. I mean, one big thing is a good closet organizer goes a long way, and so I definitely recommend that. But the other thing too, Ymir, we were roommates last year, and Ymir did a great job decorating our apartment. He got a bunch of stuff from thrift stores, and so if you either have a really good roommate that's great at finding good deals, that could be useful, or if you yourself are that person. I'm not as good at Ymir as that. But that's what I would say. There's plenty of retail stores, even at Costco as well if you have a Costco card. But there's also thrift stores, and they have some really interesting stuff as well. So yeah, I would say just bring what you feel like you really need, and then if you end up needing more stuff, you can order it, you can get it stores, whatever you need to do. So.
Taylor, anything else to add from your previous experience as a student at the University of Richmond?
I think that if you just look around your current living space, and I would maybe identify like 1 to 3 items that just really make it feel like home for you. If you're able to bring those items with you. For me, I have this, a lot of you probably don't even know what this is, but there's this really popular like stuff like plushie back in the day called Webkins. And I have my Webkins from when I was like 10 years old. And wherever I live, I've always taken it with me. And it's just nice because like it feels like home to me. So even if it's something silly like that, like you have like a comfort like stuffed animal, or just like for me, I always love putting up lights in my like string lights, like that for me is comforting. It's very homey. So if you just like identify a few things that make your space, your current space feel like yours, and are able to bring those with you or get those in Richmond, I would recommend that.
Great. Thanks so much. I've got a couple more questions in the chat. Do you need a mini refrigerator?
You do not, but you can have one. So, I did put a link, that I sent out to everyone about items, you might want to think about bringing for your room. And small refrigerators, no larger than 4.1 cubic feet. Most of them in the stores are going to say that, like what their cubic feet are. So you're going to want to look at that before you buy it, can be brought. However, you can only have one per room. So you're going to want to talk with your roommate, if most people do have one, about who's going to bring that, because if you both show up, only one can be in the room. So again, something to think about in advance, but also not a requirement.
Alrighty, and this next question, do I need a car to be able to go to those stores mentioned?
So certainly cars are, if someone does have one or a friend does, that's great. Other options is, again, we have a variety of different shuttles that are offered here. So there are ways to get to a Target or a Walmart if you need. I'm going to, again, copy in this chat here a link to the different shuttles, with schedules and routes on it. So you can kind of look through that. Again, like I said, the other thing that's helpful is if you go into guidebook, there is, like, I want to say it's a resources page, and there are going to be specific shuttles during orientation to Walmart specifically, that are added in, at this time. Jack, I think you have something.
Yeah, I was just going to add a little bit more as well. We also, in addition to all the shuttles, we have Zip cars on campus, which you can rent for $10 an hour and drive wherever you want to go. There's like 3 or 4 of them. They're just parked over by THC. And so that's kind of a neat way I'm not exactly sure where the registration form is for that, but it can't be too difficult to find. And the other thing too is, based on our statistics, most of like the freshman classes usually have about 33% of the students in the first year class will have a car. So chances are, if you have more than 2 friends, one of them will have a car. And most people are happy to go thrifting, and Walmart, Target, everybody's going to need stuff. You're all going to forget stuff. So that's another thing as well, is that yes, a car. I mean, we're in America. We're not in the great public transit cities of all time, but it's, and we are a little bit outside the city as well. We're not in VCU in downtown Richmond, but it's not as necessary as you might think, despite our location.
Great.
Yeah, I'll just add to that. I was a student and at UR, and I didn't have a car my first 2 years on campus, and it was never an issue between people I knew having cars and being able to access the university shuttles. We didn't have Zip cars back then, but that's another option now. So
Alrighty, well, any other questions that we have? Or panelists, any other information that we would like to provide?
Hey, make sure you guys set your alarms for registration tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
That is tomorrow. You should absolutely set your alarms for that and be ready to go. That's a really important process here, and competitive from what I understand as well.
But it will be okay. You will get classes, and we will work with you. And who knows, you might find a class you never thought would be a good fit. So I'm just gonna add that in there too.
There you go. Don't panic. It is not the
Do
end of the
not
world.
panic. It will be okay.
You'll literally be fine. You will be fine.
You will definitely be fine. And to add to that, download all the apps and read your emails. Over the next week, just download all the apps that are in. If someone tells you to download an app, download it, read all your emails, and ask questions. There's so many people that have all the people that are there to support other students. The amount of time, like even working inside of the orientation, like advisory space, or just being like a student. If someone just asks me like, "Oh, where is the dining hall?" or Tyler Haynes Commons, they keep talking about it, but I don't know where I'm going. Just ask someone. We're all there. Someone will answer you.
Yeah, and we're all going to have on either a red or a blue shirt, so we're going to be easy to find. So just, yeah, and we're all getting, not only do we like doing it, we're also getting paid to help you. So, we're really double invested there to help you guys out.
They absolutely are getting paid to be there, to support, and to be friends, and to be resources. And they're so excited to be back for training on Monday. Am I right? Am I right? Yeah, they are. Awesome. I believe Sage is answering a couple of extra questions in the chat. One of the questions that was asked was, let me scroll down really quickly. Is my 5-pound dog allowed during parent orientation? She'll be inside a carry-on bag. So dogs are unfortunately not allowed in our theater, so we will not be able to allow them in for parent-friendly orientation. However, if they stay outside, like on the university forum or in those spaces where or pets are allowed, then that would be okay. It's just not within that physical space. Let's see, I believe Seiji answered another one. Are they allowed in the dorms?
They
No,
are not allowed in dorms unless they're an approved emotional support animal. So just heads up there too.
beautiful. If we're looking to get a job on campus, should we wait to apply to the job fair or start after we get our schedules?
So I will link in, I just sent a link in the chat, again, with different job openings. So you're able to do that. However, we do highly recommend the Student Employment Job Fair, which is going to be on Tuesday, August 27th from 11 a.m. To 1 p.m. in the Current, which you will know where that is by the time you get through orientation. It's in Tyler Haynes Commons. So again, we highly recommend checking that out if you are interested in a position on campus.
And I'll add to that, I work on campus, and I think kind of from a student perspective, give yourself, go to the job employment fair, but like let yourself give at least like a little bit into the flow of your classes. For some people, that's a week. For some people, that's 2 days, 3 days, just so you have an idea of like what does your schedule look like. Because there's so many things that you're going to be doing on campus, working, classes, clubs and organizations, finding friends, doing things. There's so many different things. So, give yourself some time before you start tackling it all. But also tackle it all. Just give yourself some time.
Yeah, and that job fair is on like the second day of classes too. So that you're not gonna be able to find a job during orientation. I mean, all the rest of the students aren't even back yet, so the jobs aren't gonna be started up or anything. So it happens pretty quickly right after you get there, and you can start applying. After you found out all the information and whatnot.
Well, all righty. If there are no other questions that we have today, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. We really hope that you're excited to come to the University of Richmond. We really look forward to welcoming you. Use any of the links that we have included in this chat to access any of the information that you have requested. Let's see what we have here. Oh, beautiful. Sorry, it's just a thank you. And like I said, this webinar has been recorded. We are going to get it uploaded to our YouTube channel by the end of the week. You should be able to find it, as well as the rest of our videos that we have of our sessions of New Spider Summer Series for 2024. In the meantime, take care of yourself. Help you get excited and get ready. And we look forward to having you here at the University of Richmond. Thank you so much, friends.